It is 7:30 in the morning here in Taichung. It's a Sunday morning. As you can see, I got my hair cut yesterday. And I'm on my way for yet another adventure. Today's adventure will start with the focus mostly in Taichung because this is the city with some of the most unique buses in Taiwan. Taichung is the only city in Taiwan that has articulated buses. So just to kickstart my adventure, I'm gonna hop on one of them to connect to the Taichung MRT. The way Taichung is laid out, the National Railways Network forms a trunk that has lots of like smaller suburban stops that they call part of their subway. But they have an actual driverless metro on the other side of the city that like completes a circle. So I'm gonna take the articulated bus to get there and then hop on the metro. To get to the bus platform, you can walk through what was the old train station that was replaced in 2015. Part of the exhibits in the old train station includes an old DMU. So cool. These trains were some of the first diesel multiple units operated by TRA, and they were the fastest ones at their time. Towards the end of their life, they only operated on very local services in the eastern lines of Taiwan, but now they have one of them sitting here. Something fun about this train station is that you can stand up here and see all the buses pull into their platforms. It's understandably a little quiet on the transit front for 7:30 on a Sunday morning, but the next 300 or 310, those are the bus routes that the Arctics run on, should be coming soon. Buses were bought as part of the Taichung BRT, which ultimately failed because of political difficulties. But all the infrastructure, like bus stops and these buses, still exist. So the BRT sections just turned into dedicated bus lanes that all buses in Taichung can use. And one of those buses is the Route 300 that uses these Arctics. Dedicated station, which has this weird like pull-in situation, because it's just like a station on the side of the road. Bus driver getting on the PA to yell at a passenger. What's crazy about fare readers here is on every bus they know where the bus is, so that you can get the accurate amount deducted. So high tech, and well, you wouldn't find that in America now, would you? Yeah. As always, my favorite thing to do in Taichung is to hop on one of those bendy buses. And anyway, I'm off here at the City Hall station, where I'm going to hop on the Taichung MRT. This is a driverless system, and it runs to the high-speed rail. I'm going to give myself a little high-speed rail ride today because my main mission is to ride another sugar train. Now, in Jiayi County, right next to the high-speed rail station, actually, there's a sugar train that you can take to the high-speed rail station. And you can also visit an art museum and sugar refinery, all a very nice tourist operation that I want to go check out. And since today is Sunday, the trains should be running. They got MRT merch. Got some crazy merch. Alright, Asian subway system or the back rooms?
The train at Taichung is bound for HSR Taichung Station.
Driverless ride later. I'm now at the HSR Taichung station. The high-speed rail has this like issue where none of the train stations are really close to the city centers. This one is like 15 minutes away from Taichung main station, or I spent an hour to do this little journey, but no matter. Train's about to leave. I'm gonna film it leaving. The nice thing about the high-speed rail, though, is that unlike TRA, every train has non-reserved seats. So I can board any train I like with a non-reserved ticket and hopefully get a seat. It is a Sunday, so Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays, you know, weekend travel in Taiwan is a mess because that's what happens when you have a usable public transit network. People use it. But we'll see. It's pretty early in the morning. A little fun fact I have is that the MRT station entrance looks like an MRT car. Alrighty. Alright, well, the high-speed rail is slightly more expensive. It costs, ticket that's business class. I got a non-reserve, so it cost me about 12 bucks to go. I got a non-reserve ticket just because I prefer the flexibility. Anyway, let's see which train I can take. Any of these, it seems. $1 Family Mart coffee. And it looks like I can catch the earlier train than I originally planned. Got up to the platform just as the train's pulling in. here in Jiayi, and I'm going to transfer to a sugar train, just like the one I rode in yesterday's video. Now, okay, so the Suantou sugar refinery operates 2 sugar train branches. One comes to here, the Jiayi high-speed rail station, and the other one goes to the National Palace Museum Southern branch. Originally my plan was I was going to hop on the train from here to the sugar refinery to the National Palace Museum and then take a bus. But I took an earlier train than I accounted for. So instead, I'm going to do the reverse of that plan. I'm going to hop on a bus to the National Palace Museum, hop on a train to Suantou, and then another train back to here. So right now my move is to hop on the 7212 bus. This is the place that I'll be taking the bus to. I wonder if the sugar train stop is in this picture. I don't think it is. Aha. This is the sugar train stop. They use interesting AC air-conditioned carriages instead of the open-air ones like I rode yesterday. I seem to have got here at the same time as a massive tour group. Alrighty. 7212, 7 minutes away. Going to the National Palace Museum. And here's my bus, 7212. Alright, 15 minutes later, I've been dropped off at the National Palace Museum Southern branch. The main branch is in Taipei, but this one is in Jiayi. And so I have 40 minutes here before the departure of the sugar train, so that's quite a lot of time to burn. So I need to go find the sugar train station and buy a ticket. If my understanding of the prices are correct, it's quite an expensive ride actually for Taiwan. It's a $10 day pass, which is almost as much as I paid for the bullet train ride here. Sorry, I'm distracted by the bus leaving. So a one-way trip on the National Palace route, which is 1 kilometer, takes 20 minutes, is 120 NT, which is about $4. And then one-way trip on the high-speed rail route, which is another 4 kilometers, is 200. But if you buy a day pass, it's 300 altogether for unlimited rides. So it's an interesting fare structure, to be sure. The ride from here to the sugar factory also seems pretty small. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. Since I am not here to see the exhibits of the National Palace Museum, and instead I'm here for the trains, I'm going to walk across this bridge, and there's like a little route I can take just to help me spend the next 30 minutes here. I've made it back to the bus stop. I get to go across that weird looking bridge and then train. It's giving Flintstones. Oh, yo. You can actually see the train there. I suppose they get away with their high prices because of how nice the infrastructure looks. You get AC. This train actually goes somewhere. Interesting. So I now have 15 minutes until scheduled departure. I need to go buy tickets. I'm gonna take this to the main sugar refinery area that's called Suantou. and then I'll be able to catch another train that'll take me to the high-speed rail. I love using these silly little tourist trains as actual transit. All right, one $10 ticket later. Let's go ride the train. They clearly put a lot of like effort and money into this. The station is really nice. It's got a high-level platform that creates level boarding with the rest of the train. It's all very new. Like, wow, it's quite an impressive sugar train operation. Whoa. The interior is giving hospital just a little.
所以每日为着咱的视度人保健啊、性命安全，饮听众可能叫精手气，这叫肉粽薯片。所以来说个考个试来，后来谈在民国几年光复了，记得吗？后来谈在民国30几年光复，哪贵每年换算几年？你敢知？3亿5千万元。因为有人个台湾批几间堂酒，你敢知？52间的堂酒，52间堂酒。所以你敢知？ 日本人伫台湾，敢若曾经的铁路铺3000公里，所以他东战争的时候，所以就开始这间白色建筑，这间前面你敢知？美女，这间前面。
Wow, it's like
美女爱情啊，这间长这间啊，这间叫做千万的别墅，什么叫千万的别墅？美女爱情的对无？当然外口包厢是安尼了解嘛，小务所吼。来，搁来这间堂酒，头当介绍关系啊3档的，那看起来新的有无？介绍哦。第一台迄台老车啦，乌电号60有无？ 2917当一位结果，故意叫做行道车，咱人叫代人车啦，因为阮的长官的坐车，所以叫代人车。啊，第3台迄台蓝色是咱行坐客车的原型。啊，第4台中迄台黄色修理铁路，迄台叫做那个红的酱，天香的酱，各位家己做的素咱的上个好食。再来对面迄可怜的树下骹有一个阿叔。
All right, are the doors automatic or do I just? Oh. All right. I have a whole HVAC car on this train. Cool. So that was my ride from the National Palace Museum to here, the Suantou Sugar Refinery. Yeah, that was interesting. I didn't really understand a word of what was being said because it was all in Taiwanese. I do not speak Taiwanese. But here I am. It is currently 10:30. I have 30 minutes until the train to the high-speed rail departs, so I'm gonna go bum around, see what there is to see here, and then hop on another train. Over here, they have some examples of old train cars that were used along the lines. Oh, and this adorable thing is a turntable, I guess. You can see this enclosed train car here. They're very similar. Not gonna lie, the air-conditioned cars were pretty sweet. I imagine it's even sweeter during the summer. So they market themselves as a shuttle, and it's clear that they want to be used as public transit, you know, with the nice infrastructure, the nice train cars and everything. But the problem is, it's currently undercut by all the free shuttle services that operate to and from TRA, to and from the, to and from the high-speed rail, from all that. Shuttle services, people are generally looking for speed, comfort, and frequency. This train has the lowest speed I've ever seen. Comfort is like pretty solid, middle of the road. It wasn't bad. And then frequency. It only runs like 4 or 5 times a day on the weekends at best. So not a whole lot of options for riders. Okay, I just heard them make an announcement saying the train for the high-speed rail is about to drive. So hopefully I didn't get my timings wrong. See, this place definitely has potential, but it really doesn't help that it's literally in the middle of nowhere. There are like 5 residential houses down there, and then that's everything that's around here. Sihu at least had the presence inside of an actual town. Anyway, I'm gonna go see whether or not I'm missing the train, because if I miss the train, I will be sad that I have to burn a lot more time here. Alright, made it back to the platform. This ride, I think, might be a little more crowded. They even preserve the historic train station. They have direction boards. Suantou, that's the main station. Gugong, that's the National Palace Museum where I came from. And Gaotie, that's high-speed rail. Okay, they made the announcement at, let's see, 10:41, and the train doesn't leave until 11. Odd. Once again, pick a car, any car. I'm gonna pick this one.
代修哈，可能是切料或是怎么样啊，来这边放供大家参观。那这一下来有一台黄色、纯黄色，那个叫做手车哈。早期我们在这个行车的安全行车的安全。那接下来看到白色的这些镂空的大家可能有一点怀旧哈。这早期我们顺德糖厂在环绕园区开放环绕园，就是你到乘坐火车向右转就乘火车上车站，向左转就会看到一排的羊蹄甲这样200-300公尺。如果万一真的台积电的基地不够的话，所以嘉义科学园区地基不够的话，台大公司我相信他还是会配合国家的政策这开地球园第2期、第3期现在已经在规划当中。那等一下的声音会比较大一点，因为你看这右转弯，所以也轨道我觉得高低差的原理，所以它的摩擦就会增强。那我们在这边休息到11:45分11:45分11点11:45分。你接的时候在。
Wow, that was a longer but significantly more crowded ride to the high-speed rail station. About halfway through the trip, the dude narrating said that we could all drop the windows and stick our cameras out the window, so of course I took him up on that offer. This time the narration was in Mandarin, so I was able to understand a lot more. But yeah, here we are at the high-speed rail station. It is currently 11:20. I am significantly ahead of time on the schedule that I had planned today, so I still need to figure out what I'm gonna do next. I think I'm gonna have my lunch break here, and I'm gonna continue to another sugar factory. This is definitely the only place in the world you can take a train this small to a high-speed rail train. It's kind of crazy. It would be funny if I got on a high-speed rail train right now, but instead I'm just hopping on a bus. So for my next stage of the adventure, there's a sugar factory in the town of Xinying, which is even further south of here. They operate, I believe, the rail cars instead of the full-length locomotive-hauled trains, and I really want to go check that out. So next up on my agenda is I'm gonna hop on the Taiwan Tourist Shuttle, Route 33. Yes, another bit of using tourist infrastructure as transit. It's an hourly bus, and there's 35 minutes until the next one. So I'm gonna try to get some lunch and then hop on that bus. What a funky little operation that is. Now it's time for me to hop on the Route 33. This is a tourist bus, so it's slightly more expensive than a regular bus, but I am going a fair distance. And by slightly more expensive, I only mean it's like $2. And I'm gonna take that to a train station, the Hopi train station. All reliable. 7 never fails. And I can watch the buses back out while I eat my lunch. Aww, baby. Oh hell no, I think I get one of those goofy little potato vans today. Oh, or not. Woo. I hope I get a full-size bus. Now which route is this? Oh, this is my bus. Alright, well, after that little ride on the minibus, I made it to the Hopi train station. This is a very historic train station, as you can see. One of the original station buildings from when the Japanese built this railway. I clearly just missed the train, so I'll have to wait about 25 minutes for the next one. So let me see if I can find somewhere to get a little drinky drink. Okay, there's a 7 over there. I wonder if I can find something else, though. Wow, that was almost too easy. I walk back to the train station with my massive winter melon milk tea. Good lord. Now, the strat is to go sit on the platform and do some rail fanning. We're in. This train station still got hand-painted signage. Wow. I get to see a Xinying Express pass by. New battery buses are so weird. And northbound EMU 800 has made an appearance. And EMU 3000 approaches. is a good day, as my train is made up of EMU 500 rolling stock. Alright, downstairs I go. And I'm now in Xinying, which they seem to have creatively named Singing. Those EMU 500s are, without a doubt, my favorite local rolling stock on the trains in Taiwan. They're, you know, late 90s creation. They used to have these really, like, noisy motors, but I didn't seem to hear that on that set, so whatever. Anyway, I'm here in Xinying because down the street from here, there's a sugar factory, and that sugar factory also runs tourist trains. However, well, they run two lines. They have one line that goes a little further south to another station, kind of like the Xihu operation, where the train just goes down there and back a few times a day. But they also have, sorry, there's a train going through. That's a Pioma train, which for a while was the fastest type of train on the Taiwanese railway network until the EMU 3000 showed up. Anyway, this sugar factory runs two lines. One of them just kind of does an out and back service, and another one actually runs here to the train station. The one to the train station here only runs twice a day, so what I'm going to try to do is walk down towards the sugar factory and then board one of the return services up here, because I'm not sure I can actually get tickets to the sugar factory from here. Up here is the boarding platform for the sugar train, just in the middle of the park. Okay, right now I'm at Xinying Station. The next departure is at 1:50. It's currently 1:20, so 20 minutes to walk over there and try to catch the train up to here for 60, which is $2. Wow, I believe I have made it to the right place. Wow. It appears that this sugar railway is also a dual gauge system. Wow. So it looks like up here is where the magic happens. And I made it with plenty of time to spare before the next takeoff. Or, well, I made it with 9 minutes before the next takeoff. 你好，下一班开往火车站是什么时候开的？1:40。好，还有位置吗？还有。好，多少？你要一张哈？对对。80。好。Oh wow! Here comes the rail car. Xinying 火车站了哈，1:40的。好，谢谢。Wow, the inside is very old, and I'm trying to keep the foam seat. I'm very much reminded of our RTs right now with historic equipment and modern switches and everything.
有黑色跟白色的那个就是软设计，那个是要更换我们知道的，千万让车子最后下一个。我们今天搭乘的是那个11号客车，票
here
车
first,
站
so we can exit the station.
进的中心站看你就
Onwards to the
是
train station now.
由前面的要经过的中心路为站，南光中学、学生还有人行要当人行道的，因为下面是有25个铁道，这边很繁忙，所以为了安全，就建了3路等一下要进入。这里就是中心路，这个停交道就是中心路。
We actually get to go through their railway shops.
如果有公车要修理的话，或者是要停车，都通通要停到这里。这手边现在看到的都是通过车展的，目前有在停驶。它最后面有一个比较小的这一个车厢，这个叫手车，手就是没够关起来了，看守的手。
And I got a dinky little brick wagon there.
就是台场店的，今天坐的5分车，所谓的5分车就是12到12多。这个步道的地方就是台场店的场景，这边是。
Apparently these are ex-Taiwan salt trains, so that's why there's 2 gauges.
今天的基地是这里，
An old line that goes towards the town of Suantou.
可以下车啊，如果没有要下车的，而且要下车的
Pulling into the station.
好，现在我们左。
Alright, out of the 3 sugar trains that I've experienced, that one was my favorite. It was the most, I think, authentic representation of what the Taiwan Sugar Railway's passenger network was like. It was so cool and quirky. You would never expect a train to just saunter on through here. I was the only one that actually got off. Everyone was super surprised that I wanted to get off, and they were like, huh? You sure? But here I am using Sugar Railways as public transportation once again. Yeah, I just wish they ran it more frequently, maybe had more capacity on it, but I really don't see the big hulking open air trains making it through here, so the little rail car will do. Now that I'm in Xinying, now that I'm back, this is everything that I wanted to see today. It's about a 2-hour and 40-minute train ride back to Taichung. I want to see if there's still tickets left on the train that I want to take in like half an hour. I doubt it because it's a Sunday, but there's only one way to find out. I love Taiwanese parks because you can do silly little exercises and watch trains. I think I might have appreciated a little more history on the operation and like the history behind the rail car and the history of what all this is, the old branches that branched off. Some of it I've learned from internet research, but like there really isn't a whole lot out there about Taiwanese sugar railways. Something about it being an extremely niche topic. The train tracks just end here and then continue through someone's garden and motorcycle parking. All right, time to see if I'm lucky today. Okay, we got a half win today. So what happened was the train is full past Doliu, which is a station further north of here. She sold me a ticket for a seat from here to Doliu, which is about, I don't know, it cost me $4, so an hour maybe, which will get me about halfway there. From there, I'm gonna reevaluate my options on what I can do. And yeah, I could take that train and then just stand for the rest of the way, but now that I have a seat only until Doliu, where's the fun in that? Now, I also have about 30 minutes until departure, so I'm gonna walk on over to the Xinying bus singing station, the singing bus singing station as they put it, to just check it out. Nice and close to the train station. Here it is. Oh, this is a battery bus. So, the Xinying station is pretty minor as far as Taiwanese bus stations go in my book. Yeah, it's just a little half circle. Not much, but it's there. It's yellow. The exit to this bus station is mildly interesting, as that little gap right there is it. I think that Taiwanese buses are something the internet doesn't show a lot of love to, even in Taiwan. Rail fans are far more common here. I learned a lot about the Taiwanese railway system just by reading on the internet. But buses, a lot of this I had to learn myself. And that's part of why I'm doing these little adventures to these crazy places on this trip, because I like seeing these weird little rural bus stations. Oh, okay, Xinying isn't rural by any measure, but it's smaller than other places. Now that is the quietest Taiwanese battery bus I've ever seen. Oh, and here comes the other one. Continuing my adventures in visiting Taiwanese bus stations. And now, back to the train with me. I get seat 25.
下一站嘉义，后一站嘉义，下一站嘉义。Next stop 嘉义。下车时，到啦，你要到咯，对唔对？ไปด้วย We are now arriving at 斗六。
little while later and I've made it to Douliu. And I discovered that there's a run of the Zhiguang Express that leaves here in about an hour. So in an effort to do something with my time, I'm gonna hop on a bus that'll take me to the next stop southwards, where I can then catch the Zhiguang Express back a little bit closer towards Taichung. Bus leaves in 3 minutes, which is a little rough, but like, that was the only option I had. This is the current state of the Douliu bus station because they're building a new one. So I wonder if this one will be my bus. I'm hopping on the 7700, which has a departure at 15:20. Okay, so it's 3:25. 7700 has not taken off. No bus has taken off saying if it's a 7700 or not. I walked down to where the old bus station was down that way, but there doesn't seem to be anything going on right now, so I wonder, will the 7700 take off or will I just be here for an extra hour? Okay, this bus started. Let's see if it's going where I want. 请问这是哪一条线？
你要去哪里？
我要去斗南。
我们你要坐我车啊？
哦，我刚才要坐7700那个7700那台车，走啦。哎呀，太惨了。好，谢谢。好，谢谢。Okay, yeah, I admit defeat. The bus just left as evidenced by my conversation with the driver. I don't know where it left from. Might have just been a phantom run, but whatever. I'm just gonna hop on a train back towards Taichung now. I got myself a snack and a toy, and now I'm just gonna hop on a local train. Okay, update. I had a few bites of my sandwich and suddenly felt better, so I decided what I'm going to do is take this local train a little bit up the road to a stop called Xinying. Xinying is a very small station, but once a day it receives a service from the Zhiguang Hall. Maybe twice, maybe 3 times, I might be wrong. It's pretty rare for small stations to receive services from limited expresses like that, expresses like that. So I'm gonna go take this train up there and then take the Zhiguang Express and continue with my journey from there. This is also insulting, an EMU 800.
We are now arriving at Xinying.
Alrighty, off of the train 2 stops later here at Xinying. Hopefully I get my little Zhiguang Express ride. It's rare because limited express trains, any trains with reserved seats don't normally stop at a station this small. I have about 30 minutes before it departs, and I'll be taking it to Zhanghua because the Zhiguang Expresses all take the coastline, whereas my destination of Taichung for the night is on the mountain line. Let's see how lucky I am now. 你好，4点半的莒光号还有位置吗？去彰化。对。啊，谢谢。Success. Here's a map. We are here. Yeah, it's a nice little rural town. The flowers here are so pretty. And onwards to my platform.
罗东、东阿、南阿、和平、新峡、花莲，16点31分经由海线开往花莲莒光号，请到月台上车。
a generator car and a luggage car. Wow.
海线。
We are now arriving at 彰化。
下车时，请您注意月台与车厢间的缝隙。
Please mind the gap. Thank you.
And after a very comfortable ride, I'm now at Zhanghua Station. The Zhuguang Express is the last type of locomotive halt service in Taiwan. They used to be very common. Now they're relegated to just a few trains a day doing very long distance services, carrying luggage. That's why these trains are so slow, and why they still exist, because a lot of them turn into luggage trains. Yeah, the seats are some of the most comfortable in all of Taiwan, in my opinion. They're a little slow, but God, the seats are so comfortable. Anyway, here in Zhanghua, I have about 10 minutes where I need to go over the platform, check out with my ticket, and then tap back in with my yo-yo card so that I can get charged properly to Taichung. Alright, train 2042. Back in we go. It's an EMU 900 for me today. Normally the biggest fan of new things, but the EMU 900s are growing on me. They have more capacity than normal local trains, so they get thrown on the very busy fast local services, and honestly, they're good at it. Alright, well, after a very long day of successful adventuring, here I am back in my hotel room. Yeah, I think my plan went honestly better than I accounted for. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.